Welcome back to Hoops Lounge.
How's it going, guys?
NBA Finals Edition 2012. I'm Montreal Mark.
Sporting Phil, but got a big show for you. NBA playoffs wrapping up. Lots of news, both on and off the court.
Let's start with the fan questions. We got one today from Bobby Z here. His Twitter handle is Montreal Design. He's a Montreal guy, big hoop fan. What will the Celtics look like in a couple of years? In my honest opinion, it won't be pretty. Rebuild is a must.
Well, I gotta think they have no choice. I honestly think they should try out one more year with their crew.
Yeah.
I think Jeff Green not being there was a huge loss. A 6'9" athletic guy who can spread the court really would have made a difference with LeBron and really would have stretched out that court, added the athleticism. You know, those periods where Pierce was really, dragging his ass around, he would have come in, really been that energetic guy. And Rondo's part of their future. Bass is a stopgap. But the question is a couple years. I think the couple years is really a rebuilding with the draft, because I think next year they can push that. But if we're really talking couple, answering his question properly, they might still have Rondo around, but really, I don't think they're making the playoffs.
I think the Green Mamba, Rondo, is going to be gone within a year or two, and it's just going to blow up. But Doc Rivers is going to try to hold it together, but the pieces are just going to fall apart.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So let's start talking about handshakes.
Or lack thereof, right?
Yeah, well, after Game 7 last night, everyone's been talking about Rondo and KG left the courts with seconds to go. What are you supposed to do?
Look, you're a professional. You shake the guy's hand. You win, you lose. You like it, you don't like it, you shake their hand, because you'd want the same person to do it to you if you were in the reverse position. I get the critics. KG and Rondo say they don't respect the Heat players, their floppers, whatever you want to call them. But the thing is, at the end of the day, they beat you, right? Mm-hmm. And so you show them the respect, because you kind of know if the shoe was on the other foot, they would have done it for you.
I'm in the opposite opinion. It depends on the sport. In baseball, they do not shake hands. And in hockey, they do shake hands. Jeff Merrick at Sportsnet mentioned last night that a lot of the guys actually in hockey don't like shaking hands after the game. For me, it's a matter of opinion. I'm not happy with the walking off the court, but for me, I'm okay with it. But let's get into the finals. What are your thoughts? OKC versus the Heat.
Well, listen, everyone knows I'm an OKC fan, and you know what? No one's gonna quell the haters more than the Heat coming to town.
Yeah.
This is what everyone wanted. This is LeBron. This is Durant. This is the big three versus the big three. Sorry, Boston, but really,
San Antonio.
Yeah, sorry, San Antonio too. All the old guard. These are the new guard. Yeah, we're crying a river for them. But really, they're coming in, and I think this is going to be a great matchup. And it's really going to be a matchup of two things in my mind. Whoever can make the least mistakes, because we've seen both teams can be turnover prone when they try to get a little too happy with the ball and the fast break. But the second one is who can take advantage of matchups, because both teams against a lot of other teams go small. Mm-hmm. The Heat will put Bosch at center. The Thunder will put Ibaka at center, or play with Perkins and then Durant at the 4. Both these tactics work well, but the weird thing is they both want to do it, right? Mm-hmm. So it's a matchup thing, and I think it's going to be pick your poison. It's going to be, because I think LeBron and Durant kind of are going to cancel each other out one way or another.
That's it.
I think LeBron's the best fit for Durant. Mm-hmm. I think Durant is going to have a very compact series, but if he can actually break through, there's no more question who's the best player in the league.
Well, this is actually, this is his spotlight here. This is KD stepping up to the plate saying, this is my league. Like we were saying in our last video, they beat the Spurs. They are on the cusp of doing whatever they want to do. Mm-hmm. And so it all starts on Tuesday night. Like we're saying, LeBron and KD kind of illuminates itself. What is the second big matchup to look at?
Second big matchup, as much as a lot of people want to talk about that backcourt, myself, it's the Bosch Ibaka.
Yeah.
We saw in the series with the Celtics and Miami how KG really was thrown out of his element when Bosch was forcing him to the perimeter, because he wanted to kind of stay around the center area, protect the paint, same as how Ibaka plays. But then Bosch was keeping him honest, keeping him on the three-point line, and we saw so many times when KG tried to come in and clog the lane, kick it out to Bosch, and he would make him pay. If that happens, it's going to be a long series for OKC. But with Ibaka on the perimeter, how do they deal? It's a lot on Perkins.
It's been interesting playoffs, because two of the big themes kind of running for the last 2 months have been injuries and coming back and winning games after being down 10, 20, 25 points. all of a sudden Miami is healthy again. People were saying Boston had kind of a smooth ride. They didn't have to take on Rose. They didn't really have to take on Bosch. Now we've got two pretty much healthy teams.
Yeah, well...
Who do you got for number 3?
Number 3, it's the backcourt. This is going to be my pick your poison kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because Miami with Wade is going to have to pick to either stop Westbrook or Harden.
Right.
I think if Chalmers can have a series and play and hold his own against Westbrook, this is a totally different ball game. Mm-hmm. But I don't really think he's doing that.
I don't think so either.
So I think either Harden or Westbrook are going to start torching these Heat, and it's going to come down to how bad that is.
Yeah. And like we said, I'm sure David Stern's a very happy man right now because this is the ultimate matchup for him. We've got the MVP versus the runner-up for MVP, and we've got pretty much the youngest team in the league. I mean, these guys are all 23 years old versus the guys who are 27, 28, really in their prime, going head-to-head.
Yeah, no, I mean, the oldest starting Thunder is Perkins at 27, and if you look at Miami, you have Wade, who's 30, you have LeBron, who's about 28, 27 at this point. Yeah, same for Bosch. I mean, they're all in their prime. So they both have, you could say, room to grow. Like I don't think Miami is capped, but I think OKC has a much higher ceiling at this point, right? But I think how they're really going to, my question for them is how do you score inside? Because Miami doesn't have that inside presence. And if you had a guy like, you wouldn't want his knees, but Amari Stoudemire, he would be a great guy to balance out the perimeter scoring. Because let's face it, OKC is a perimeter-based team. And how do you make them pay inside? Because if you don't make them pay inside, why are they going to play Joel Anthony? All they're going to do is play Bosch and Haslam, or not even Haslam, play LeBron, pick and pop you and burn you. You have to force them to defend you inside, to keep their big guys on the court, to slow them down, keep them honest.
Okay, so what do you think? What's your predictions?
I'm going to say...
It's tough because the finals only ended, the Eastern Conference Finals only ended about 12, 15 hours ago, so we're still digesting this. But
it's tough. I think, honestly, I've seen them both progress, but to me, I got to take OKC just because I've seen the team progress as a whole. Their heart, how they came back from huge deficits, hitting huge shots, their ball handling, how they're limiting their turnovers, how Westbrook's got his jump shot down, the internal toughness, the defense of Durant. I think with Miami, we're seeing individual games and strong. Like in the last game, that all the big three had a large fourth quarter.
Big factors.
But I don't see them always playing to that level. Whereas OKC, their big three often have high games. So do I think Miami, if all their three are lighting it up, can stand in this series? Sure. But I don't think they will. And I think one or two of them isn't enough to keep up with the firepower of OKC. I say OKC 6.
It's been a lot of wear and tear on Dwayne and on LBJ because, Bosch has been out. They've had a lot of minutes. LeBron in the last 2 games has just been off the charts. He's been playing in MJ territory.
It's been that the whole playoffs. He's like a 30-10 guy.
And he's been carrying the team on his back, and that's just a lot of wear and tear. They don't have a lot of time off. OKC's been very well rested, and one thing that's obviously going to factor in is that OKC is a small town with one team. I lived in San Antonio in the summer of 1999 when the Spurs won their first title. And the city just goes insane. I mean, here in Montreal, we know about this because of the Habs. The city just goes nuts for their team. They've got home court advantage. They've got 4 games at home. And like you said about the growing chemistry, the team building as one. It's not... LeBron would have to be a magician. Dwayne Wade would have to be a magician to have this kind of work together for them in a 7-game series. I'm going to say OKC in 7.
7?
Yeah.
I actually think I didn't bring it up, but a key point could be Nick Collison. Yeah. I really like this guy,
I do
and
too.
He has a little bit of that interior scoring that in small doses could happen.
Yeah.
And with that playoff, the home court, I was looking at the playoffs. Did you know the finals is 2-3-2?
Yeah, it's different than the rest of the playoffs. So, I mean, it has to do with the flights, rather than the players going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Well, it's for media as well,
it's also, so it's easier to set up that way. But, so, I mean, that means 3 games in Miami in the middle. But
which, to me, gives a little bit more advantage to the road team than it normally would. Because if Miami takes 1 game in OKC, if you rattle off 3 home games, which you should win your home games, you got the title, right?
Yeah. So,
but the thing is, if they don't, OKC finishes it off 2 at home. That's strong, right?
Yeah, basically, so the first 2 games are just vital. You have to get rolling right away. So
yeah.
I've been giddy since last night because it's a beautiful matchup. It's just so much talent on both sides. It's a war. It's going to be a war.
I'm just really hoping for no injuries. You know, knock on wood, we've seen these playoffs. Yeah. No injuries, strong play, and keep the refs out of this.
Yeah. So you brought up Nick Collison, which is an interesting point because we got one last fan question to end up with. This is from a friend of mine, David Carnegie, who goes on Twitter as Creelman Kid. He's from Burnaby, British Columbia.
West Coast boy.
Yeah, nice. So he brings up the fact, Seattle basketball fans, is the feeling more bitter or more sweet?
Well, listen, the corny answer is going to be bittersweet, right? But you got to pick, because that's his question.
Yeah. OKC used to be in Seattle, for those of you who don't know.
I'm going to say sweet, just because, you know what, you had ties. The Seattle Supersonics drafted Kevin Durant.
They did. Yes, they did.
You know, they didn't get Westbrook. They got Durant.
And Nick Collison.
You know, I'm going to say you look on the bright side, glass half full kind of argument. I can definitely see it the other way, but you know what? If you're not going to have a team, you'd rather the team you had win than not. At least that's how I see it.
Well, I mean, being an Expos fan, I know a lot of us here in Montreal are not Washington National fans.
No.
And there's a bitterness to that, and it's, 8 years down the road. I'm going to say it's bitter, but, this is an opportunity for the Oklahoma franchise, once again, to reach out. I know that Sean Kemp and Gary Payton have both said in years past they've been reached out to by the organization to say, come watch a game, come be part of this. And I hope they do that again and even invite people to say, you know what, wear your Sonics gear. Let's connect these two franchises back together. I know it's been a bad divorce, but let's reconnect the families. Let's do this during the NBA Finals. I hope they do it, and I hope it goes 7 games.
I would love to see that. And you know what I would love to see? I don't know if it would be, if they win, if it would be in poor taste, you'd have to see, but go to Seattle with it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have a thank you for the foundation kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, for the city, invite them all, have a party. You know, bring Kevin Durant back. Like as I said, they're not going to have a team, but at least give them something, right?
Give back.
Because let's not forget, those Seattle fans were great, and really they're deserving of an NBA team. Like if you can talk about anyone who wants to move on and to possibly relocate, Seattle's got to be a great place.
Yeah, but they got to beat Miami first. So
yeah,
we are gonna wrap up, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, out of time here on the lounge. But thanks for joining us as always. As always, Twitter handles Sporting Phil,
Montreal Mark,
Facebook page HoopsLounge at Facebook there, and HoopsLounge@gmail.com. This is where we get our questions. Send them in, and we will answer yours.
Yeah. See ya.
Take care, guys.